Coming up on a Levi Trumbull investigation.
A little while back, we talked about the $10 million defamation lawsuit filed by Washington County Commissioner President John Barr against First Amendment activist Shaun Porter. We're talking about the attorney behind it.
Today, attorney Sarah Spitalnick will be unmasked and court records will be revealed that will show her true character.
There's nothing that she's done in the time that I've been dealing with her that would make me think that she in fact is a lawyer. She files claims she has absolutely no chance in winning.
And later, watch as her deficiencies are exposed.
The court's decision was a complete legal spanking on Silly Sarah's silly white butt.
Somehow they were all wrong, but Sarah Spitalnick, the 20-something-year-old goth chick with combat boots and fishnets, is somehow right.
I've called her, I think, in court and incompetent, lying, and I just wrote her an email, and I think I told her that that was probably too generous.
All right, what's happening out there? Levi Trumbull here, and we have an awesome story for you guys today. Do not go anywhere because I think you guys are absolutely going to love it. So a little while back, we talked about the $10 million defamation lawsuit filed by Washington County Commissioner President John Barr against First Amendment activist Shaun Porter. Now, that whole situation was over a political parody sign, a sign that paid homage to the famous Hustler magazine versus Falwell Supreme Court case, the one where Falwell sued Larry Flynt for a Joe Compare ad talking about how Falwell slept with his mother in an outhouse in Lynchburg, Virginia. Now, I believe the lawsuit against Shaun Porter is a slap suit, a lawsuit designed to silence a critic of the government. But today, we're not just talking about the lawsuit against Porter. We're talking about the attorney behind it. That's right, a young female mastermind behind this case is a Maryland lawyer named Sarah Spitalnick, who recently graduated from law school at the University of Baltimore. And after doing my own research, it seems like to me that the Porter lawsuit isn't just a fluke, it's a pattern of what I can only describe as legal shenanigans and, quite frankly, attorney amateur hour. So sit back as we unpack Sarah Spitalnick's brief collection of legal failures and questionable cases that she has been a part of. The epic fail against King and Spalding. So let's start at the beginning of Silly Sarah's journey in the law field. Court documents show that as a first-year law student of University of Baltimore, Silly Sarah Spitalnick decided to sue a major international law firm, King and Spalding. This is a massive firm with law offices all over the world, a true Goliath of the legal profession. Because you know when you're in law school and you want to become a lawyer, what a great idea it is to sue a major law firm that is internationally recognized. That will really get your foot in the door. So, Silly Sarah brought the lawsuit on claims of unlawful employment discrimination. She alleged in her lawsuit that she was a straight white female and she was deterred from applying for a summer internship by the law firm because the job posting required candidates to, quote, have an ethnically or culturally diverse background or be a member of the LGBT community. So Silly Sarah believed that she was clearly unqualified to meet the those requirements. Now, if you're a first-year law student taking on a titan like this, you'd think you'd have your ducks in a row. You'd have to come correct. But according to the memorandum opinion from the federal court, Sarah did not even come close to bringing a legitimate case. The judge's opinion is a masterpiece of judicial shade. It gets right to the point. The case was dismissed for one of the most basic fundamental reasons in law, a lack of subject matter jurisdiction. The judge's opinion on the matter states that silly Sarah never even sought the internship that she was suing over, which is why she lacks standing to sue. In my opinion, it's like suing a restaurant for a meal that you never ordered, then being shocked when the waiter says you can't sue them for not giving it to you. The court's decision was a complete legal spanking on silly Sarah's silly white butt.
Spank me, Santa. I've been a naughty girl.
It was a dismissal so profound that it didn't even really get to the merits of the case. In my opinion, this set the stage for a career of what seems to be a complete misunderstanding of how the law actually works by silly Sarah Spitalnick. Part 2, the Jacob Clare fiasco and the huge judgment. Next up on silly Sarah's wall of shame is the case involving a guy named Jacob Clare. We have documents from the Maryland Home Improvement Commission, which is the state-level body that oversees contractors' work, and they already showed that this guy had problems. According to a proposed order from MHIC, he was found to have performed work in an unworkmanlike, incomplete, or inadequate manner, and as a result, the commission awarded the claimant, Robert Hess, a judgment of the specific amount of $2,100. Now, in addition to that separate filing from MHIC, a different court case showed that Jacob Clare was involved in a breach of contract case where he was the plaintiff with silly Sarah as his attorney. But it was the defendants, David Anderson and Legacy Pool and Spa LLC, who won a huge verdict against Jacob on their counter complaint against him. The jury awarded the counter plaintiffs $26,000 as a result of his breach of contract and another $1,300 for conversion. The total judgment against Jacob Clare and his company, Clare Services LLC, was over $28,000. This is a huge amount of money for a contractor to lose, and to make matters worse, the documents provided in the record show that Jacob Clare then filed for bankruptcy. It's my opinion that this legal action, which silly Sarah helped Jacob to pursue, backfired spectacularly against him, leaving him with judgments and a bankruptcy filing. So good job, Sarah. Hopefully you returned all of the money that he paid to you so that he can pay off that now really big judgment that he now owes. Good work. Which leads us to part 3, Blake Haddell versus Kylie Midkiff. Now, if you want a masterclass in how not to practice law, you have to look at the Haddell versus Midkiff defamation case. In my opinion, this is the centerpiece of silly Sarah's wall of shame. The documents reveal that Sarah Spitalnick represented a guy named Blake Haddell who sued a woman, Kylie Midkiff, for defamation of character. The suit was brought after Kylie Midkiff made allegations of sexual misconduct against Haddell on social media, a claim that, according to the court documents, multiple other women had also made online. They took this case to a 2-day trial, and after just 2 days, the judge delivered a legal haymaker, a directed verdict in favor of Kylie Midkiff. Now, a directed verdict is not just a loss, it is a complete legal demolition. It's when a judge decides that based on the evidence presented, no reasonable person could have sided with the plaintiff. It's a statement by the court that your case had no merit from the get-go. And here's where we get to the meat of the situation. The defendant, Kylie Midkiff, in her pretrial statement, completely eviscerated silly Sarah's claims. She stated that her comment regarding Haddell assaulting women was a true and accurate statement. Midkiff says she saw comments online from women stating that they were abused by Haddell. Midkiff also made a claim on social media that Blake Haddell had owed thousands of dollars in child support, and that statement was also true, providing the DHS documents which showed Blake Haddell did in fact owe thousands of dollars in child support. Kylie Midkiff also made a reference in an online comment saying that the next picture of Blake Adele would be his mugshot, which of course is an opinionated statement and not actionable. But throwing the case out was not enough for the court that heard it. The court didn't just dismiss the case. Documents from the record show that the court actually sanctioned Blake Adele under Maryland Rule 1341 to the tune of $12,600. I've looked through the documents and they refer to this rule, which allows for sanctions for filings made in bad faith for an improper purpose or without substantial justification. In my opinion, sanctions are the court's way of saying you wasted our time, you knew this case was bogus, and you should have never filed it, silly Sarah. They were, in my opinion, so incensed by the frivolous nature of this case that they actually punished her client for bringing it. Because here is where it even gets weirder. Court documents reveal that Sarah Spitalnick was involved in a custody case for Blake Adele against a woman named Megan Maggio, who happens to be one of the close friends of Kylie Midkiff. And it seems like both Megan and Kylie have had issues before with Blake in the past. So in my opinion, it seems to be a complex legal web of actions where attorney Silly Sarah is fighting Blake Adele's legal battles against his baby mama and his baby mama's friends. But why is Sarah doing this? It would be nice to get an answer to that question, but I think this is a giant red flag and possibly a conflict of interest. Or maybe, and this is just my opinion, maybe Silly Sarah is just suing girls that are much more popular than she is. Just a thought. Part 4, the MDEC misadventures. Now, let's talk about the legal fundamentals. The one thing every lawyer must master is filing documents with the court. It's the bread and butter of the profession. But based on what I have seen, it seems that Sarah Spitalnick has a complete inability to do so. I'm talking about the Maryland Electronic Courts, or MDEC. Her filings show a pattern of deficiency notices. So with that being said, let's show you just how bad Silly Sarah is at filing court documents. Roll footage. So with all that, we now come full circle back to the lawsuit against Shaun Porter. Given everything we've seen out of Silly Sarah Spitalnick, that being a lawsuit against a major law firm that was laughed out of federal court, a representation of a contractor that resulted in a loss, a judgment and a bankruptcy, and a defamation case that was dismissed with sanctions, and a pattern of basic fundamental filing errors, it is no wonder why Silly Sarah Spitalnick would file a case in Washington County with the possible belief that Washington County, Maryland, would overturn the Supreme Court in the landmark Hustler magazine case. In my opinion, the Porter lawsuit is just like the others. It seems to be a cynical and ill-conceived attempt to use the legal system to harass and silence someone. And while I can't confirm her previous job, Silly Sarah's LinkedIn seems to suggest that she was a bartender before working as a lawyer. And I think maybe she should consider going back to her previous job because it was a much more respectable one. Because, honey, this one just ain't working out for you. You play silly games, and now you're winning silly prizes. So with that being said, let's turn it over for reaction. Now, Shaun, you have been dealing with Sarah Spitalnick for a while now. What is your opinion of her professional career in law?
It's going to be short-lived based on her history and based on the way in which she picks the cases she takes, the way in which she files her filings. There's nothing that she's done in the time that I've been dealing with her that would make me think that she, in fact, is a lawyer. She files claims she has absolutely no chance in winning. She knows she can run people through the system, so far before, summary judgment comes or before it goes to trial and she loses.
Right.
And I think she's counting on people being afraid of all of her vexatious filings. She just files all this frivolous, ridiculous crap with the court. I think she's thinking someone's eventually just going to start writing checks to her, but that's not how it goes. When you deal with people like me, we're never going to pay. We never, ever, ever, ever are going to. We're going to fight until we die.
So let's take it one by one. Okay, so she sued King and Spalding. The court found she had no jurisdiction to sue them because she never even applied for the company. What do you think of a wannabe lawyer at that point trying to sue a major law firm? Does that make sense to you?
No, she lacked standing because she hadn't even tried to get the internship. Mm-hmm. She had no standing with which to even file, and I'm surprised she wasn't sanctioned for bringing that case. She lost in Carroll County for almost $30,000 recently. She just got these sanctions for $12,600. She's about to lose the John Barr case. She actually defaulted in my case, and she didn't even bother to respond. She had 30 days to respond to my counterclaim for $104 million, and she neglected to even file a response. She just forgot about it.
So I want to talk about the Kylie Midkiff case for a second, and Megan Maggio as well. So I'm not crazy, right? We did see her with Blake Adele in the circuit court for Washington County on that day that, yeah?
Oh, we saw them together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we did.
He obviously is regretting that as of last week, $12,600 in sanctions. Right. He's actually the one responsible for the sanctions, not her.
So I want to talk about that case for a moment. What do you make of that situation? So Kylie Midkiff, she makes a statement saying that, he SA'd women. That was the quote on Facebook. And then you have all these women on Facebook sort of saying the same thing. She was also sued for saying that he owed thousands of dollars in child support. That was seemingly true. Documents came out. They also took issue with the fact that she said the next picture we'll see of him is a mugshot. And then, of course, you get the directive verdict from the judge. Case is thrown out, found that there was no reasonable person who could find that she brought a legitimate case, and then she was sanctioned. What do you make of that whole situation?
Well, I would never let Blake Adele take me out on a date, that's for sure, because I wouldn't want to be SA'd by that dude. But yeah, long story short, when you got 10 people all saying the same thing on social media, and then you have public records stating that much of it is true, if it walks like a goose and it talks like a goose, it's probably a goose, because you got 10 women saying it and you sue one.
In your opinion, is she dating the goose?
In my opinion, I think that she thinks that she's dating the goose, and I don't think that it's going to work out too well now that she lost, this case, and he now owes $12,600. I mean, she appealed it, but that appeal is going nowhere.
Yeah, she's tried to appeal it on abuse of discretion. What are your thoughts?
What on earth is abuse of discretion? The judge is given discretion.
Right.
And it's his or her discretion to use. There's no such thing as abuse of discretion, at least in this case. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. His golden goose is not laying those golden eggs.
No.
And I think that he's gonna cut ties with poor Sarah Spitalnick. She'll be back on Tinder, because I don't think that Blake Adele will be able to continue dating her if, he lost $12,600 to her negligence. I don't think he'll be able to stomach going anywhere near that young lady. I mean, honestly, I don't know how he did it in the first place.
All right, so now we are on the phone with famous pro se litigator in the state of Maryland, Justin Holder. Justin, it's good to have you. Nice to be speaking with you. So you are quite familiar with Sarah Spitalnick. You have read her filings, you've read her briefs, you've read her complaints. Tell me what you think of the legal practices of Miss Spitalnick.
I'll tell you the same thing I've been telling the Washington County Circuit Court. Her citations to law are completely wrong, and sometimes the citations, the cases don't even exist. They're just completely made up cases. Her facts are false. She just makes up facts. She tried to sanction me when I blocked her on Facebook. She doesn't understand principal-agent relationships. She doesn't understand what a serve reply is. She doesn't understand the difference between the federal rules of procedure or the Maryland rules of procedure.
Have you had a chance to review some of the documents in the other cases, such as the recent Kylie Midkiff case where she sued on behalf of Blake Adele?
She's perfectly willing to file false statements to the court with impunity, false citations to law. She knew going into that trial she had no case, no way of winning it. She conducted it anyway. She had, from reading the pleadings, the evidence, the list of exhibits, all the information, listening to what the judge said, he was absolutely right. She just had no substantial justification, no good faith basis to bring that suit at all. I really don't think she's going to keep her law license very long if our Attorney Grievance Commission has any integrity. Yeah, she's a big loser. She's a big incompetent loser. I've called her, I think, in court an incompetent, lying, and I just wrote her an email, and I think I told her that was probably too generous. I said it was fair, but it was probably a little too generous, and maybe I should have used something a little harsher than incompetent, lying, but I think that's pretty fair.
Well, Justin, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you giving me a statement.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Levi. Thanks for reaching out.